bad boys. What you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you?
This special edition is filmed on location with the men and women of law enforcement. All suspects are innocent until proven guilty in a court of law.
Brother, listen to me. I had the opportunity to ride with the great Muta and Gary Hart. God rest his soul. Wow. Gary Hart was managing him. Okay, Gary Hart is tired. Now, he don't want to drive no more. And I guess, Gary didn't know about me. I was a driver because back in the day, some of the guys like JYD, Butch Reed, God rest their soul, they wouldn't even ride in a car unless I was driving. Because I was, they trusted me because I drove everywhere. But anyway, so Gary didn't want to drive. So Gary messed around and let Muta drive. Now Muta it's raining, storming. Muta is driving 80, 90 miles an hour. The car is hydroplaning, jumping up and off the water. It's a wonder we didn't crash in, man. God just took care of us. But Muta don't know. He just flying. You know what I mean? But,
what are you doing in the car at that time, though, Teddy? You've got to be screaming at this point.
I can't say nothing. I'm with Muta and Gary Hart. What the hell am I going to say? Yeah. And back then, you didn't say nothing because if the boys found out you were scared, then they'd really put it on then. So you don't never let nobody know you're scared now.
Howard Finkel.
Oh, God, love the Fink. Oh, yeah. Oh, man, yeah. God rest his soul, too, man. I miss Howard Finkel. I remember one time he said something in the ring, and I looked over at him. I was doing this promo, and I said, "That's not the way you say that." And he looks at me, and he says, "Well, I stand to be corrected." He was always professional, God. I loved Howard. He was the guy.
He was always known as a sweetheart, too. He was just a real easygoing guy. He didn't want to hurt anybody's feelings. Is that true?
Yeah, that's true, man. That is really true. I remember one time.
It's hard to find people like that in the wrestling business.
Yeah. I remember one time we were somewhere, I forget where, I might have been Ohio, and that's when the APA was going, and they had this thing they were going to do with Howard, and they were going to take all of his clothes off, and so he called his wife, he called everybody. He was trying to get out of doing that because they were scared, and they scared, and they told that the APA was going to bang him. So it was so funny that night, man. But Howard Finkel, golly, man, he certainly missed.
Yo, messing with that poor guy. Our next question comes from Fargo in Florida. Fargo, that's North Dakota, isn't it?
Yeah, I've been there.
Oh, really? You've been to Fargo?
Yeah, I've been to Fargo, yes.
Okay. I want you to tell me what these fellas look like.
Well, the little guy, he was kind of funny looking.
In what way?
I don't know, just funny looking.
Can you be any more specific?
I couldn't really say. He wasn't circumcised.
Was he funny looking apart from that?
Yeah.
So, you were having sex with a little fella then?
Uh-huh.
Is there anything else you can tell me about him?
No. Like I say, he was funny looking. More than most people, even.
You betcha, yeah.
Yeah.
But I never forget that we stayed at a Holiday Inn there, brother. You talk about cold.
Fan Fest in Rome, Georgia, and right now, one of wrestling's true legends, Tommy Rich. How are you?
I'm good, man. Thank you for having me, man. I'd like to give a big shout out to my man Bill Apter, man. He wrote a lot of great articles about me, man, and that's back when wrestling was wrestling, and the wrestling magazines, how everybody knew about anything. So, big shout out to him. My man Scott Teal back here too. Yep. It's just a pleasure to see the turnout here, man. It's great to be here.
I know that you and I actually worked in the ring. You're not going to remember this. Years ago in Dublin, Georgia, you used to come down there and do some shows, and we worked together back then. A lot of things have changed in wrestling from the old days to today. Is there something missing from today's wrestling that you'd like to see added back?
I call it old school and now it's new school. It's a different time, It's changed so much. Old school wrestling fans tell me, it's changed so much, man. It's just, used to we told a story, and I think we missed some of the stories now. There's more flying around than it is, so.
I've always said that it seems like it's more of an exhibition than it is an actual wrestling match.
Oh, yeah, because it's a lost art. I mean, it's something they don't really teach no more, I don't think, so. Just, hey, to get wrestled in the 80s with guys like Bruiser, Brody, Stan Hansen, Chief Wahoo McDaniel, you got Lex Luger, Ricky Steamboat. I mean, these are some of the pioneers. Sergeant Slaughter, Tony Atlas. I mean, they got a who's list here. The Four Horsemen are here. It's been a big turnout. And fans, hey, and ain't nothing greater than a wrestling fan. God bless each and every one of you out there, because without y'all, they ain't no us anyway. So God bless and thanks.
One more question for you, Tommy. I'm curious, back at the time when you were really hitting your stride and rolling, what was it like for you at that time? Was it really just a pressure cooker or what?
Oh, we was like rock and roll stars in the 80s, and we didn't realize it. We just loved wrestling and loved the fans, and it was just the 80s were cool, man.
Tommy, I appreciate it. And anybody wants to get in touch with you, how do they get in touch with you? Or merchandise, anything?
I've got a Facebook page. I had to get it from my wife.
That's
she has
right.
all that stuff. But
Just look up Tommy Rich on Facebook.
There you go. Hey, and as Freddie Miller would say, don't miss it. Be there.
Be there.
Hey, what's going on, man? Just wash my hands up a little bit here, all right?
Hey, I gotta take a leak. I'll be out there in a minute.
All right, no problem.
What the hell? They didn't pay the damn light bill.
I'm the boogeyman. Yeah, I'm gonna just. Oh, God, no. Kitty Long. Road trip. After hours. I'm the boogeyman. And I'm coming to get ya!
He said, well, you got the champ tonight, Ricky. You got to do an hour. I looked at George. I said, I've never done an hour. He said, don't worry. Just listen to Harley. Went out there, did the hour, come back in the locker room, down the stairs, sitting at the bottom, I'm by myself. It's a 1 hour match, right? All the guys are on the way home. Tommy Young opens the door from the top of the stairs. He goes, hey, Ricky. I look up. I'm so blowed up. I mean, I am just, I go, yeah, Tommy. He goes, Champ says, thanks. You did good, kid. And a year later, to the month, Raleigh, North Carolina, I got Harley Race. George Scott says, you're doing an hour Broadway. Now, as I told you, my first 1 hour Broadway was with Harley Race, right? So I started to think on some Harley-isms, stuff that he did in the ring. And thank God I did, because this second time, my second 1 hour, the bell goes ding, ding, ding. I lock up with Harley Race. He looks at me square in the face. He says, kid, you called this one tonight. I'm tired. What? Back, those days, the heels called the match, right? I've been a bona fide babyface, never said a word, never called a match, and I'm in with the world champ for an hour. You called this one tonight? My legs went to rubber. After the match, same scenario, sitting in the locker room, down at the bottom of the stairs in the basement. Tommy Young opens the door. Ricky, I said, yeah, Tommy? Champ says, thanks, you did good, kid.
Davis at the International Professional Wrestling Hall of Fame, and one of the teams I grew up with that was one of my favorites of all time, being from the South, the Rock and Roll Express. And right with me right now is Robert Gibson. How are you?
I'm doing good, Mac. How are you? You talking about back then? Nowadays, we got to wear this, right?
Oh, yeah, here.
I'll do this. Yeah, we're down here having a good time.
You had a match last night I've heard was really good at the wrestling show. Tell me about that.
I got to say, out of all the matches that won last night, had to be the most recent.
For those of you who don't know, Robert's a big, funny guy, I guess you would say.
Not that kind of way, but
yeah. First time I met him, there's a story, and you may remember this, and you probably do because you do it to everybody I hear. He walks by, I just met him, and he points down at my zipper area and goes,
zips down.
Yeah, zip down. And first thing I do is look down, zip it up, and he just starts cracking up laughing.
You got every referee in the business.
Yep.
They do the same thing.
Tell me, what are you up to nowadays?
Enjoying life.
You got grandbabies now, I know that.
Yeah, I got some grandbabies. I got 3 boys and one girl 2 weeks ago. And I'm just enjoying life.
You got 5? Is that what I remember?
I got 4 and one more on the way.
Oh boy! So you got a handful. 'Cause I see you with them all the time, so I know you spend a lot of time with them.
Yeah, dang near 4 of them in the last 4 years. They're popping out.
How do you continue to stay in shape and get in that wrestling ring and perform?
I just never stop moving. You just got to keep moving. I mean, are you in pain? Yeah, I'm in pain every day. It's just part of life. But age is a number. If you sit around, I think you got to move.
Yep, you got to be fluid.
Just like you got to move.
You got to keep moving. If you don't, you're gonna just get ruined. Right. Let me ask you. You've trained a lot of guys. We have talked about this recently, as a matter of fact. One of your trainees I've worked with. Are you still training folks, or what's going on?
I've been training on and off. I started back in '06 with down in Ohio Valley for WWE back in the day. And out of all the guys I've trained, I've got to say that all of them become champions.
Now, that's not a bad deal.
A lot of them become champions. Me and Al Snow, we sent a lot of them through OVW. The guys you see on TV of the day, the big stars you see, are mine and Al Snow students.
Now, in the days of your wrestling on TV, one thing I noticed, you didn't talk a whole lot. Your partner did most of the talking. Was there a reason for that? Was he just that talkative or what?
Well, the reason I'm talking so much now is because he's not damn interrupting me. You know what I'm saying? I try to say something. He's always... Anyway, he loves the camera more than I do.
I know that every interview I've seen, he always cuts you off and starts the conversation off, and you just kind of sit there going, okay.
Yeah, go ahead and write it.
Yeah. Your favorite time in wrestling?
My favorite time in wrestling, even today, is when I go out there and I can see the small kids smiling and laughing. That's my passion.
Do you have a moment of your career that sticks with you that you remember going, wow? I mean, you're maybe in a building or wrestling a particular individual?
I got a bunch of them.
I bet.
I got a bunch of them. I fell off 14-foot stages when you come out and hit the spotlight and you walk and you can't see, and I disappeared. The scaffold match with Dennis Condrey. On one of them matches, he goes around my head into the post in one of the corners, and as I hit, they didn't have it locked. It swung open.
Oh no!
And I'm 24 feet in the air. It swung open. I saw the floor. And I was lucky enough to pull it back, the cage back. When I did, it took my whole fingernail off.
Oh God!
And I had that pole here when it come back. I grabbed Dennis by the hair of the head, and he probably got the worst end of it.
The scaffold matches, those were really scary back at that time.
Like I said, when you're that high up and looking over, I couldn't even see the ring up under me.
Jim Cornette got hurt in one of those too,
didn't he? He blew both knees out. He dropped straight down. But I'm talking about up top, try to see the ring, you cannot see it.
That's not a fun feeling, especially if you don't like heights, and I hate heights.
Yeah, so. Ricky and them, they didn't like it. I got up there and shook the ring, and they hollered and cussed me out.
See what I say? He gives everybody a hard time all the time. So. Thank you so much.
Guys out there, y'all keep rocking, man. God bless you.